This is the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for the month of August 2024. It's currently June 19th, 2024, 3:42 p.m. Eastern Time. Bitcoin at the time of this reading is $64,765.92. That's USD. The shuffle video for the Bitcoin August reading was created on June 9th, 2024 at 3:42 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme of behavior for Bitcoin in August is the truce card. I'm seeing quite frequently, like recently, I've seen quite frequently that the truce card indicates like a move into resistance and then out of resistance. Not necessarily like a full retracement, but generally speaking, it's truce. Like the bulls and the bears kind of like equal each other out. So probably mixed, and then in the midst of that, there's an unexpected move to the upside, at least one that'll really stand out on at least a 1 month scale. And it's pretty mixed for August, which fits into the 1 year reading. In the paid version, I'll get into how the August reading fits into the 1 year. We'll actually take a look at the 1 year reading. Behavior around the highest side, we have a intentional fake out or shakeout, some sort of tricky chart behavior intended to make us do the wrong thing. Some sort of, a lot of the time it's like the triggering of an indicator, but it's like a false triggering. Being that it's in the high position, it probably is going to make it look like we go higher, but we don't. Behavior around the lowest low, we have a sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a notable rally on a multi-day scale. The lows here offer an opportunity to open up long positions, and I'm going to talk all about that, when to and how to, in the paid version as well. Now, I'm going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior, as well as timing the highs and the lows and the trade opportunities, all of that in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing, as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. So let's get back into it. Okay, so like I said, it's pretty mixed, guys. I think this right here is the lowest low thus far, and it's the peace card, so it's probably going to be kind of like a overall flat day. There's probably a decline and then a rally in there, and we create our lowest low thus far on the first, followed by a highest high thus far on the second. It's speaking of resistance, so there's a chance that we see that resistance multiple times. That would be why it's kind of like why it's highlighted here. So on the first, we have a flat day. There's a decline, but it looks like the day ends with a rally, so we probably kind of equal each other out, but decline in the rally. There's a prominent trough there, and then on the second, we have a prominent peak. We attempt to establish support there. It doesn't look like it holds because we're declining by the third into another prominent trough on a 1 month scale. Looks like there's a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline into a prominent trough. On the fourth, the full card indicating a significant move or improbable move or improbable trade opportunity. Often you'll see the full card as a low or a high. It's not like definite that it's a low or a high, but often it'll be like a something along those lines, because it'll give you like an opportunity to make like a max profit if you open up a trade or close a trade there. But sometimes it's just a really big move too. And it looks like there's a notable trade opportunity there, which we're going to talk about in more detail in the paid version. Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty big move to the upside there, an unexpected move higher. And on the fifth, we have a period of sideways rotation along key support, and there's another prominent trough there. On the sixth, a crest that we sell off from down to and through support. We do a U-shaped reversal below that support, come back and reuse it as support by the end of the day there. On the seventh, we have a pretty big move higher, like a breakout higher early in the day on the seventh. Likely a prominent peak there as well. And then we decline from that breakout, we turn around and we decline back down to a key support, and then reverse and climb back up to resistance and climb back down to support. And it looks like there's a prominent trough at the end of the day on the 7th. On the 8th, a lot of volatility and a big move to the upside to a prominent peak, again, an unexpected move higher. On the 9th, 3 pokes through the same trend line followed by a sharp drop. It's probably 3 pokes through the same resistance followed by a sharp drop into another prominent trough. And then we have more volatility on the 10th. In the midst of that volatility, there's a sharp drop that'll stand out and creating a prominent trough on a 1 month scale. There's also a significant peak at the end of the day. A lot of price change there. It's hard to say where the trough and the peak are, but I'm thinking like it's plus or minus. Both of them are plus or minus a day, like from the 10th. So it could be the 9th, 10th, or the 11th, but it's somewhere in there around the 10th. Both a high and a low, so a lot of volatility there. A trade opportunity I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. And then we have a big move to the upside on the 11th, followed by another significant decline on a multi-day scale, creating a trough on the 12th or the 13th, or the 13th, I should say, a trough on a 1 month scale. Another unexpected move higher on the 13th. Oh, and there's an important price level, important technical price level on a 1 year chart scale highlighted on the 13th. I think probably near a trough towards the end of the day. And then there's this unexpected move higher that starts on the 13th, continues into the 14th. And there may be like a peak that forms and we decline off of the peak on the 14th, but my sense is that we probably continue pretty much rallying into the 15th, where there's a failed attempt to break the key resistance followed by a decline to key support. And the thing about that key resistance is that a lot of the time with the disappointment card, we're expecting to break through because technicals will lead us to believe that we're going to break through. So it's usually like resistance that we just tested. It's probably resistance that we tested either around the 10th or the 7th, and then so we decline through key support, and it's probably support at that key technical price level on a 1 year chart scale from the 13th that we rally off of. That's probably the support level that we break down through on the 15th. Pretty erratic behavior going on here, 14th and the 15th. Before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing for June. All right, so we had a lowest low thus far on the 2nd. Looks like that held up. That took us into a high on the 5th. We nailed that. There wasn't a low prior to it, so that was a little bit off. But even so, we wouldn't have been banking the trade on that low anyways. So a high there. We have another high there on the 7th, 8th, like on the cusp, and it looks like it took place here on the 7th. And that takes us into a lowest low thus far. Looks like it was on the 11th. That was off by a day. That would have been a fake out there on the 10th, which is the devil card, making it look like we're going higher, but instead we went lower the following day. On the 13th, there's... Oh, and by the way, we nailed that crest. So if you don't know, when we write in SO meta-analysis on our channel, when we put a green ellipse, what we're indicating is that there should be a crest or peak that forms within that range. And when it's a red ellipse rather than a green ellipse, it's a trough or low that'll form within a range. So we don't see all of them, but when we mark it off, we're usually right. And we nailed that one. So we've got this over here. But in any case, I'll get into that in a lot more depth in the paid version. We had the possibility of another high around the 15th, although I did say it wasn't worth banking on because it was a little tricky. And it looks like it didn't end up being a high. It's something about those ruins that land on the sticky note really have been throwing me off, so I need to indicate. Interesting. I'm going to have to figure out a system to get rid of that little trickiness. But in either case, we have a lowest low on the 21st. We're on the 20th and we're near lowest lows. So I would say this is pretty solid. This reading is really actually pretty solid, guys. It was a rally that was halted by a decline through key support. That was the theme card, crossed with a decline through multiple support levels. And the low forms after a decline through multiple support levels. So as far as trades are concerned, the full card there on the 7th, when we hit that resistance level, that would have been a good place to open up a short position. You could close a short position the same day or the next day. That would have panned out pretty well. On the 13th, that one might not have panned out especially well. This Princess of Swords, although it could be that we see the price level like at the end of the month or like in the beginning of the following month, and that would still fulfill the Princess of Swords. There's also this over here on the 19th. What is that? The 18th. Right, so on the 18th we're here, on the 13th we're here. Yeah, interesting. So, and then there's that sharp drop there on the 18th. From the 17th, right, we had a reversal on the 14th. We started going bullish, right? This is the 14th. Started going bullish into the 17th. The 17th was the peak, and then there's a unicursal on the hexagram on the 17th, followed by a big decline, a big decline. This was all predicted, guys. That ruin facing that direction, the Ace of Swords, all indicating big decline, and you can see that would have panned out pretty darn well. And really, you would be closing out of that tomorrow. It might be the lowest tomorrow, but you would be closing out of that short position tomorrow. Overall, really accurate. I'm so happy, guys. My God, May was awful. It was like my worst month in like the history of me doing this on YouTube. Maybe ever. I must have been so off my game energetically. But like, it's scary when that happens because I put everything I got into this stuff, guys. My whole life revolves around this. So I'm glad to be back. Woo! Alright guys, so if you're interested in the paid version, it's a great way to support the channel. You're getting information in the paid version that you won't find anywhere else in the world. This is super undervalued information. Literally, only place you can find it is at Tarot for Traders and the Investor Profit. What you're getting is the timing of the best trades, what type of trades to make, also what type of chart behavior to look for as far as entry and exit into and out of those trades. You get any trades from a multi-month and a multi-year standpoint, and then any price level information that we're able to extrapolate. This is super valuable information. People with the paid version are making money. So the way that you get the paid version, you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, you hover over our services, click on SO Meta Posts, and then you want to scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. You can subscribe to any one of these individual crypto or ticker symbols for $2.49 a month, or you can get the all paid version, which gives you access to all of these crypto and ticker symbols for $4.99 a month. Not to mention, you are also getting any one-offs, any custom monthlies that people order for that month, and any monthlies that I do that are relevant to that part of the year. So there's going to be different monthlies coming out month to month, and you would have access to all of those paid versions through the all paid version. The most popular way to support the channel, and not to mention, it's a really great way to get my attention. So thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that, and let's get back into it. All right, so that decline through key support from the 15th continues into the 16th. It's a pretty sharp decline there. On the 17th, there's a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels, most likely overbought territory. There's a trough at the end of the day, and then on the 18th, we have another brief peak that's easily missed, probably near overbought territory, followed by a decline through multiple support levels again. Okay, so I just fixed an error there, which made things a lot clearer. In any case, we have this brief peak that's easily missed, followed by decline through multiple support levels again on the 15th. It's probably near overbought peak that we sell off from, and it ends up being sideways rotation on the 19th that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and that fast sudden move higher takes us into price swings. There might be like a crest. Excuse me, there might be a trough or low right here, or a trough here on like the cusp of the 19th, 20th, before this big move to the upside, and then that will trigger price swings on the 20th, which turns into a sideways fluctuating rally, increasing with momentum on the 21st, but that rally then precedes a sharp decline into another significant trough on a 1-month scale. We successfully create support on the 22nd, another prominent trough. On the 23rd, we have a prominent peak and a sharp drop off of that prominent peak early in the day into a prominent trough again within a period of volatility, and that volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher. Then on the 21st, we decline again through multiple support levels into another prominent trough, rallying out of that into the 25th along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. Notable reversal on the 26th. Interesting. Hard to say if the reversal's there on the 26th or the 27th, but it looks like we decline increasing with volatility into the 26th, and there's either a bit of a move to the upside here, like somewhere on the 26th, like towards the end of the day on the 26th, or early in the day on the 27th to a key resistance, or we just continue declining into a trough on the 27th. So, like, we either rally before it and then decline into it, or we just decline into it. Either way, when we get into this trough here at the end of the day on the 27th, which will form after a decline that increases with momentum moving forward in time, out of that trough will come a breakout, like a major breakout will really stand out on a multi-day scale, taking us to a prominent peak on the 28th. where we revisit support with sideways rotation, and there should be a sharp drop that stands out in that period of sideways rotation. More sideways rotation on the 29th, but this is more like equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow. On the 30th, we have another prominent peak, a resistance level that's highlighted. Actually, there's an unexpected move to the upside as well. There's a halting of a bullish trend and a decline through key support. The resistance level that's highlighted there in the multi-day scale would decline from that, and then we rally back into it either the same day or maybe like the following day or the day after. But there's a good trade opportunity there that I'll get into in more detail in the paid version. And then on the 30th, we have bumping along resistance sideways, maybe breaking through and then bumping along some more, maybe breaking through, bumping along some more. But the majority of that behavior is bumping along resistance. Overall bullish though. And then the sneak preview for September, there's a prominent peak and there's an important moment, at least in September, where we have sideways rotation along key support. We rise to meet the nearest resistance and then fall back down and continue rotating sideways along that same support that's on a multi-day scale. There's a prominent peak, and then it looks like there's some sort of risk of being misled at the end of the month of September. But we'll get into all that in more detail when we get into the September reading. That's Bitcoin for August 2024. We're going to get into timing the highs, the lows, and the best trade opportunities, as well as getting into the cross-reading congruencies and how the August reading fits into the 2024 reading. All of that, any price level information as well in the paid version. Great way to support the channel. Thanks to everybody doing that. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.